What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor M, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, guys, I am here to bring you all my review of Mayoiga Episode 5. So let's get right into it. So Mayoiga Episode 5, pretty much we focused a lot on the characters within this episode. You know, pretty much everyone is just sitting down throughout half of the episode trying to figure out, you know, what exactly is going on within this town like they have been in the previous episodes of Mayoiga. But after the events in Episode 4, where we basically saw these characters coming out of the tunnel and them screaming, you know, there's a giant Mutsumune, you know, which is our main male character's name. Like, stuff has just been getting pretty freaky when it comes to Mayoiga. Now, when we see the characters interact with one another and, you know, basically try to describe the events that ended up transpiring previously, you know, everyone is pretty much left confused, and it seems like some of the characters are not even trusting Mutsumune at this point, and some of them are not even trusting Masaki, which is the girl who we really haven't seen too much focus on within this episode, and she's just as mysterious as our main male character. I see, like, in my last review of Mayoiga, there's at least 3 characters that are the most mysterious to me out of the entire series, and that is Mutsumune, Lion, and then Masaki. Mutsumune, he just seems too calm all the time compared to everyone else from most of the group, which makes him the most suspicious out of the group. Second, there's Lion. Lion, we come to find out that apparently she ends up saying that, you know, she can actually communicate with spirits, I guess, or she can see spirits, is what she said. However, she ends up, you know, confirming that that is not the case. What she can actually is see people who are close to death, who are about to experience death. And then we get that massive cliffhanger by the end of this episode, which we will get into in a bit. But then there's also Masaki, who barely has any focus in these past few episodes of Mayoiga. We really do not know much about her, and it looks like she was about to say something to Mutsumune at the end. She was like saying, "I'm blank." I don't know what she's trying to, you know, refer to here, but maybe she is actually the one who is dead. The majority of this episode was pretty much having the rest of the cast of characters pretty much put all of their attention on to Mutsumune, because they have no idea, you know, what exactly they saw when it came to the giant Mutsumune. However, that one girl who ended up describing, you know, the giant Mutsumune that she ended up seeing in the tunnel was nothing completely like Mutsumune. But from this actually transpired our characters to actually direct their attention to Mutsumune, because they think that he is the one playing the strings, and also the one who ended up letting Jack out of his cage. Now let's talk about Masaki really quick. Masaki, she stated at the end that "I'm blank." What she could possibly be referring to is that I'm the one who is actually dead. It's been hinted at that someone within the group is actually dead, and we did get that scene within this episode to where, you know, we had Lion freak out over on Mutsumune and saying that he disappeared, but what she actually did this for was to direct everybody's attention onto her being scared rather than Mutsumune, because she thought that this was a ridiculous topic in general, that Mutsumune was behind all of these acts. And we still don't know if he's behind all these acts, but in some way, you know, he could be connected to some of the events that are transpiring in this series. We really do not know. However, what the past few episodes of Mayoiga have pretty much been hinting at, that someone within on the bus, within the group, is in fact dead. One of them is dead, and this could be Masaki. We really don't know much about her in general. Like I said before, she is a mystery, and we just haven't really seen much of her when it comes down to this series. So she is one of the most mysterious characters when it comes down within this episode, as to, you know, what exactly is going through her mind, and, you know, in general, like, we just don't know much about her. So it would make sense that, you know, we have this person who we barely have gotten any screen time on, that could be the actual person transpiring these events. I mean, what better way to have the events actually transpire throughout the series and cause mayhem? Have a character off screen pulling the strings. So at the end of this episode of Mayoiga, we have this big giant thing just appear right out of the forest, and it looks like it's some sort of bird. It's like a big fat bird. We see the beak on it, you know, we see a little crusty eye on one side, and then at the other side we see like a human-like sort of eye, which probably was the human eye that was peeking out on our cast of characters within episode 3 of Mayoiga, which was very creepy, by the way. However, like, the design of this makes it a little bit less creepy and more of a fluffy sort of character. But anyway, what exactly, you know, is this thing? So, Mutsumune at the very end of this episode of Mayoiga stated that something, you know, he said like it was a Tokimune. A Tokimune. Now, I looked this up, probably because there was some Japanese folklore, you know, revolving around the word Tokimune. You know, maybe there's something along those lines where I could find up online about this supernatural being, or this paranormal thing that just appeared out of nowhere within this episode of Mayoiga. Come to find out, really nothing relates to Tokimune besides a emperor or some sort of warrior, historical figure in Japanese history. However, I did find something within Japanese folklore that kind of resembled what at the end of this episode we saw was this big giant bird-like thing, and this was actually one of the Japanese folklore creatures called a tengu. So what exactly is a tengu? Let me read this description and basically give you a rundown on what a tengu is. So a tengu are impish mountain goblins that play tricks on people, featured in countless folktales and considered purely evil until about the 14th century. They were originally depicted as bird-like with wings and beaks, though now the beak is often replaced with a comically large nose. They are known to lead people away from Buddhism, tie priests to tall trees and towers, start fires in temples, and kidnap children. Many legends say the Tengu were hypocritical priests who must now live the rest of their lives as mountain goblins as punishment. Locals made offerings to the Tengu to avoid their mischief, and there are still festivals in Japan dedicated to them today. So, just by the little image that I will put up right here, probably it's already been up for quite a while, you know, it looks like these sort of bird-like creatures resemble in some sort of way, you know, what we saw at the end of this episode of Mayoiga. This was actually the only sort of Japanese folklore sort of creature that closely resembled to what I could actually find out, you know, when it comes to this episode of Mayoiga. So, I mean, when it comes to this series, you know, many of us, you know, had different opinions as to what exactly would transpire with this series of Mayoiga. Is someone going to be doing the killing or vanishing, or is it going to be a supernatural sort of entity that, you know, this weird stuff is ended up going down within the series of Mayoiga? What exactly can it be? Could it be both? I don't know. Like I stated before, Mutsumune is a very odd individual. He's very calm compared to the rest of the group of the series of Mayoiga. You know, I just don't trust him. I really don't. He's a very bland male character, I gotta say that too, but that's besides the point. Mutsumune, he's mysterious. He seems like he is connected to the events that are transpiring now in Mayoiga. Then we also have Masaki, who supposedly could be dead, and maybe she is also connected to what is transpiring in Mayoiga as of now. And also we have Lion, which basically can see people who are close to death. So, we ended up getting that end at the end of this episode, the ending to where we see that big giant beast appear out of nowhere. And if things go down within this episode, are we going to see, you know, our main character die? Are we going to see Masaki die? Are we going to see pretty much everybody die within this series? Everybody vanish? Because as we know of this town of Mayoiga is that at a time it was very populated, but then pretty much everybody vanished, you know? So could we also see that with these characters in Mayoiga? Could we see them all vanish by the end of the series? Who knows? I don't know exactly still what is going down. All we pretty much have gotten of Mayoiga up to this point has just been hints and pretty much just speculation as to what exactly is going on. Everybody is probably as confused as I am, but hopefully, you know, maybe I did pin down some sort of theory that could, you know, end up getting bigger and bigger for others to figure out for themselves. So, yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. Of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to stick up to date to my future content on this channel, please hit that red subscribe button below, and you will never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys. Love you all, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.